Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video for the synchronization between ALM Octane and Jira. What we have done in the first video was setting up and installing and configuring the integration bridge of ALM Octane synchronizer. So you can see it is set it up here directly. We have defined also the credentials in the credentials endpoint manager for the integration bridge. I'm using my private Jira account, which is in the cloud, and ALM Octane is also in the cloud. So what I've done already is I've created here empty project for ALM Octane, empty workspace called Jira Sync, and same goes for the Jira space. I have created an empty new clean workspace called Octane Sync, and I've created some artifacts already before this is needed for the ALM Octane synchronizer. As a precondition, you need to create at least of each type one artifacts in the system, so Octane can fetch all these different types. So as the first step, what I will do is I will now start creating the synchronization links. So you can see here the connection dialog appears. I can select between ALM and Quality Center or Jira. So if you want to integrate your existing quality management stream into Octane by synchronizing requirements and defects, you should select the connection type ALM QC. We are going to look into the Jira synchronization, where I will create a totally new Jira connection with the URL of my cloud environment for Jira, and also define a logical name. So this is the credentials which I'm using are coming from my local machine, where I have installed the integration bridge. So you can see this is the only one credential package I'm using. If I click on authenticate now, ALM Octane synchronizer will fetch all the Jira project and display it under this list. So we'll take 2 seconds. So here you go. You can see here are all the different Jira projects I have in my cloud environment. So we will select the right one, which is Octane Sync. Go next, and now I can decide what I want to synchronize. So we will now create one artifact for backlogs. Same you will be able to do for defects and other artifacts as well. So here I selected the Octane workspace, which is Jira Sync, and for backlog I named the link stories. Check connectivity and continue. So here ALM Octane checks that all artifacts and entities exist, at least with one sample data which you want to synchronize. Once this is done, we can define the type mapping. So took a while because of my internet connection. So anyways, here you can see the entity types which are available in ALM Octane, and now I can map these to the gyro types. So I will say it is the user stories are mapped to the stories, and this is the only artifact type we are going to synchronize. And I can also set up if the hierarchy of Jira is not mapping correctly to the ALM Octane hierarchy, as Jira has a very flat hierarchy. You can say synchronize epic and stories directly to the backlog root, and here you can define who will be the leading system, or is it a bidirectional configuration where you say okay, Octane is the leading system or Jira. So in my case I say Octane is the leading system. I click next. I can define here rules and favorites if I want to query specific data only on both sides. I have not defined anything here in my projects. They are created from scratch. So go to the next step, where the link summary should appear, and then we continue with the field mapping. So done. So we can go directly into the field mapping. You can see here a general overview on the information where I'm going to synchronize. I have to run before an integrity check once I have defined my field mapping correctly. So you can see here all the different fields need to be mapped. On the left hand side you can see all the Octane fields, and on the right hand side here you can see the gyro fields, and on both sides we have one error or warning, which is there's a mapping warning which need to be fixed. So I guess there are required fields which need to be mapped. So here you can see we have name. I will map the name to the summaries of Jira. This should be fine. This is good. And on top of this I can do a user mapping quickly here for my user, at least, where I say Amikan is mapped to admin. This should be fine. This is good. And now I'm able to save the link and run the first integrity check, which should bring me some warnings because there are some fields which are on Gyro side required and on ALM side only optional. This needs to be customized if you want to have both sides the same behavior of the fields. So it is running the integrity check here by querying the schema on Gyro side and on Octane side, and it comes exactly with some warnings. We can look into it quickly, and here you can see the author and reporter. So there's a mandatory field on Gyro side versus the optional field on ALM Octane side. For now it doesn't matter. We will not use it for the demo. So what I will do now is I will create a simple user story on the Gyro side, which then should be synchronized to ALM Octane side. So let me say this is my first user story in Jira, and I want to assign it to me directly. This is fine. Done. So I can see the user story exists in Jira, and in ALM Octane I can run now a manual sync, so we are able to see what is happening. You can also set later on the automatic sync, which is available here as well, so it will run on specific timings. So it found one query. This is going to fetch and synchronize to ALM Octane. It is passed. So let's go into the ALM Octane workspace to see what happened here. So we have here backlog items. Okay, first user story. This is the very first one I have created. The second one should come as well. So let me run another manual sync. And let me save it correctly. So it is not saved yet. I have to create it now. So here I can finally create it. Yeah, the problem was on my side. So I say create user story. So now the user story is created finally, and we have to run the synchronization process again in ALM Octane Synchronizer manually for now. So let me see quickly here. It is only one user story, and now it should find another one from Octane starting to query one entity. So getting the result from Jira, and it should have synchronized the other user story as well. So you can see it appeared here directly. So this is good. And if I want to rename it here, let's say we rename it here with Octane received the story and save it. And I can trigger the synchronization run again. So it should now replicate my changes which I've done in ALM Octane to Jira, and we are good to go. Yeah, it found one changed entity and it is replicating. The change is replicated. We go to Jira and say now, where can I refresh here in Jira? This is total disaster. Look here. Okay, I have to refresh the page. Let's go here, releases, and go back to backlogs. So you can see here the backlog appears with this change I made. Octane received the user story, and here you can see Octane received the user story is the one I have changed. So far so good. So this is how you are able to set up the synchronization between ALM Octane and Gyro for defects, user stories, and epics. On the Gyro side, on ALM Octane side, you can map it to any kind of entity we have for the specific area. Hope this helped, and this was it from my side. Thank you.